Good afternoon. Please sit down. It is wonderful to see here in the White House so many incredible women this afternoon. The strength of America is closely tied to the role women play in shaping their children's character, education, and morals. The values cultivated within our communities shape the voice and vision of our next generation. A woman's influence strengthens our democracy, capital markets, and time-tested business institutions. Across the country today, women are finding unique ways to balance career ambition and family. We all know these incredible women. They dominate America's workforce now more than ever before. As a visionary, I know success is not born overnight, but rather takes shape after a long and sometimes challenging process. Often alone at the top, I follow my passion, listen to my instinct, and always maintain a laser focus. In solitude, my creative mind dances, filling my imagination with originality. Attention to detail, demanding schedules, and multitasking are everyday realities when building towards success. The principle resonates across all my roles as a mother, humanitarian, philanthropist, and entrepreneur. As well as with my new film, where I shaped its creative direction, served as a producer, managed post-production, and activated the marketing campaign. Curiosity is a core value that keeps me ahead of the curve. Curiosity begets knowledge, opening doors to ideas and industry that I have otherwise overlooked. This unrestricted mindset has led me to build across very different sectors: fashion, digital assets, publishing, accessories, skincare, commercial television, and of course, filmmaking. The lessons I learned when launching my earliest ventures, such as how to build a brand, create superior product design, and activate an advertising campaign, remains just as relevant today. Markets evolve, technologies change, but the fundamentals of thoughtful leadership and continuous learning are everlasting. To all of the young women, entrepreneurs, and future leaders, make time for yourself, educate yourself daily, and spread your passion. Be courageous and take risks. Advance your profession through inspiration. Be a bold chief executive while keeping your family, if you choose so, at the center of your nation's future. And now, it is my privilege to introduce our Commander-in-Chief, who throughout his career has demonstrated a strong commitment to promoting women in leadership roles. Please welcome the President, Donald J. Trump.
Well, thank you very much. Movie star, can you believe this? Can you believe it? That wasn't supposed to happen. We were supposed to have a nice, normal life. But she's terrific and big success. And I think it was #1 last night streaming. It went on streaming last night. It was #1. So I don't know. Maybe she's getting a little too big for the White House. We'll have to think about it. Anyway, thank you, honey. She really is something. I want to really congratulate you, and I want to thank everyone for being here today. It's very exciting. It's always exciting to be with you. We love women. Women are the whole deal, okay? And today is very special because we celebrate Women's History Month. That's what it's about every year. And before we begin, I want to send our love to the Michigan Jewish community and all of the people in Detroit area following the attack on the Jewish synagogue early today. And I've been fully briefed, and it's a terrible thing, but it goes on. We're going to be right down to the bottom of it. It's absolutely incredible that things like this happen. On another front, an entirely different front, the situation with Iran is moving along very rapidly. It's doing very well. Our military is unsurpassed. There's never been anything like it. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. And we're doing what has to be done. Should have been done during a 47-year period. Could have been done by a lot of different people. They chose not to do it. But they really are a nation of terror and hate. And they're paying a big price right now. We're honored to be joined by many extraordinary ladies, working moms, and amazing women who are making history themselves. You really are. I want to thank Second Lady Usha Vance, who's a fantastic person. Where is Usha? Usha? And really, you have been such an inspiration to a lot of women. Usha, thank you very much. Appreciate it. And your husband's doing a good job. The youngest and perhaps the best White House press secretary in history. Caroline, where's Caroline? Doing a fantastic job, Caroline. She keeps me straight. She keeps me, no, sir, you can't do that. You can't do this. I can't do anything. Life would be so much more exciting, wouldn't it? Thank you, Caroline. Great. Attorney General Pam Bondi, my friend. Good, good. Got some big things in store. She's doing a great job. Thank you, Pam. Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRemer. Thank you, Lori. Thank you very much. Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith, who just had, what did you get, 84, 85% of the vote? What's going on? You know? Now I can tell this story. I would have, but Cindy Hyde called me up years ago when she first ran. It was a tough race. It was one of their top people in the White House. I won't mention the president because we don't want to mention anybody. Get yourself in a lot of trouble. But it was their top person, and it looked very tough for any Republican candidate. And Cindy Hyde was the one, and she was not, I don't know, not like the people that knew her loved her, but not a lot of people knew her. And she said, sir, could you do me a favor? Could you give me a rally? I said, a rally's a big deal. And I got there and she said, would you stay and do another rally in another part of the state? Nobody's ever, and we ended up with 3 of them. And she won in a landslide, right? And now she's at 85%. And now she wins. She doesn't need rallies. I say, do you want me to do a rally? I don't need any rallies, sir. She got 85%. Good. I was so happy to say. Not surprised, but I was so happy. And that's because you've done a great job. Great job. Thank you very much. Representatives, Virginia Fox, my friend for a long time. Virginia, thank you. Kat Kamek. Kat, thank you very much. Thank you, Kat. Diana Harshbarger. Where's Diana? Diana, thank you. A friend of mine, a very talented person, too, very smart, Victoria Sparks. We argue, but we always come to the same place. Doing a good job. And, of course, Kellyanne Conway. Has anyone ever heard of her? She's fantastic. She's in there fighting. She's a Kellyanne. A friend of mine said, you know that Kellyanne, I admire her, the way she goes in and she screams at those people she's got us, meaning the media, because this is a man that doesn't do very well with the media. It's one of those things. But thank you, Kellyanne. And also, I want to thank the New York Stock Exchange and the person who is so instrumental in its great success, Lynn Martin. Thank you very much, Lynn. Great job. Great job. Say hello to Jeff, right? Thank you very much. Going all the way back to our nation's founding in 1776, America has been strengthened beyond measure by the courage, by the spirit, love, devotion, and the incredible woman. I mean, all of these incredible women who have served our nation, uplifted our communities, pioneered new industries, and been the heart and soul of the American family. And they are the heart and soul. From Martha Washington to Betsy Ross, from Clara Barton to Amelia Earhart, and Rosa Parks to Aretha Franklin, American women have propelled us to even greater heights. And now the Trump administration is working every single day to make America better, safer, and more prosperous for women and men, but, but much more importantly for women. And they are really the inspiration. They are so powerful and so important and so beautiful. I'm not allowed to use the word beautiful, but I'm using it anyway. Usually it's the end of your political career. If you say a woman's a beautiful woman, they say that's the termination of his career, but somehow it hasn't hurt too much. You're incredible women and you're beautiful women. Well, we're here to celebrate Women's History Month today. We also are celebrating National Working Moms Day, a very special day. And since I took office, we've created more than 300,000 jobs now filled by proud, hardworking American women. It's a record. The number of women-owned businesses increased by 1.2 million last year alone. That's also a record. These are all records. Got a lot of records. Think of that, 1.2 million last year alone, businesses opened by women. Very ambitious people, very, very ambitious, very, very amazing. To support working moms like many in this room, last year we passed the largest tax cuts in American history. So our opponents, as you know, want to raise taxes. We decided to lower taxes. All my life, I've watched politicians. I've only started this about 10 years ago. But I watched politicians, and I watched them so diligently. I loved it. I loved watching. They would say, we will cut your taxes. We're going to cut your taxes. We'll cut your taxes. Even if they didn't mean it, they said it. The Democrats say, we will raise your taxes. I've never heard anything. But maybe that's why we won in a landslide. Maybe. But we did cut your taxes. And that includes no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our great seniors. That's a big deal. And with us today is Heather Kell, joined by her 14-year-old beautiful son, Finley. Heather is a single mom and waitress in Hendersonville, North Carolina, a great place. And thanks to the One Big Beautiful Bill, she got a big, beautiful tax refund of $4,000 this year, which she didn't expect. And Heather, please come up and tell us how excited you are to receive that. Come on up, Heather. Thank you. Thank you, Diane.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here today. I have been a waitress for over 20 years, and a lot of the people I've seen come and go in the industry are single moms, and they work hard. They're the hardest working people I know. And then at the end of the year, they're always super stressed out because they don't know where they're going to come up with the extra couple $1,000s that they owe on the taxes. And this year, I had to do a double take. I had to do my taxes twice to make sure this was real. I couldn't believe it. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I appreciate you.
I love that ending. Wasn't that beautiful? That's from the heart. That's from the heart. Thanks, Heather. Spend it wisely, right? Thank you. Also with us is Nora Pruitt, a proud mom of 7 and a sheet metal worker from Baltimore, Maryland. She's seeing how our manufacturing renaissance is bringing opportunity back to America. And if you would, please come up, Nora. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Hi, I'm Nora Pruitt. I'm blessed with a wonderful husband, Jason Pruitt, and my 7 adorable children. I'm a working mom. I used to be a housekeeper for 9 years. A year ago, I got a job, a career job, at Marlin Steel Wire Productions in Baltimore, Maryland. I was matched with great pay, a 401k with great match. I got a huge promotion to set up a wire forming machine, We only use USA steel, and we only make in the USA. With the big, beautiful bill, we were able to buy one of the most expensive tools our factory's ever bought. Within that, it totally changed our lives. We were able to buy a 5-bedroom home on an acre of land. I just want to tell you thank you so much. Thank you.
Wow. That's pretty good, huh? So we have another person that I'm going to introduce. You know, they said, "You mind bringing up 5 people?" I said, "Not really, but it's a lot." Then I looked at them and I said, "How about some more like that? We want more." But thank you. It's great. Great job you did. Another working mom benefiting from our policies is Lexi Chambers. And she's a second-generation farmer from Virginia who's got 2 wonderful daughters, June and Tilly. They're benefiting from our one big, beautiful bill. I always say great, big, beautiful bill because I like it better, Pam. They say, "Sir, that's not the exact." I said, "Don't worry about it. It'll be just fine. Great, big, beautiful bill," because that's what it is. And the $12 billion in farm relief we issued using tariff revenue. We get $12 billion. We took in tremendous amounts of money. We're taking in money because of the tariffs, and really jobs are coming in through the roof, and we have factories being built all over the country. As an example, in the last administration, less than $1 trillion in 4 years. We've taken in $18 trillion plus in 11 months. We haven't included the 12th month yet. So we're at more than $18 trillion, and it's a record in the history of our country. We've never done anything, and that was for a lot of good things. It was because of November 5th, but it was also because of tariffs. So, Lexi, please come up and say a few words. Lexi, come on up, Lexi. Oh, it's so beautiful. How are you? Nice to see you. Come on in.
Hi, my daughter June had to join me. She was not one to stay. As a wife of a second-generation Virginia farmer, one of my biggest goals, second to teaching my children to love Jesus above all else, is to ensure that my daughters have the opportunity to farm one day. President Trump, your support of American agriculture through your changes and updates of the estate tax relief for family farms has allowed families like mine the opportunity to ensure that my daughters can farm one day. Thank you for your work on OBBB and your support of the American family farm.
Thank you very much. Thank you. That's beautiful. You know, one of the things that we were just thinking about and talking about, and something so important is exactly that. You mentioned, I never mention it, but so big when you want to pass on your farm to your beautiful daughter someday. A lot of people, until we came along, I came along, we all came along together, you had a tremendous estate tax. They call it a death tax. You want the farm to go, well, they had tremendous estate tax. In some cases, they're sort of semi-land rich but cash poor, but that's the way it is sometimes. And farms were being lost all over the country. They were being taken away from the banks. And we ended the death tax. We ended it for the farmers, for manufacturers, and small businesses. So you're not going to be losing your farms anymore. Okay? It's going to be a long time from now, many, many years, 70, 80 years, but it's just going to have no tax to pay, okay? It's going to be in a long time. Thank you very much. That was great. One of the most important ways we can support women is by bringing law and order and public safety back to our country. And for the past 10 months in a row, think of that, 10 months in a row, 0 illegal aliens have been admitted to the United States, which is an amazing number. In 1 year, we've seen the largest decline in the murder rate in 125 years. It's back to the year 1900. That's before my father was born. He never liked talking about age. He probably would hate me saying that, but it was before. Way before my father was born. And 125 years, the lowest number of murders. And part of that is what we've done with your department, Pam, and what we've done with some other departments. And Homeland has been amazing. So many people have worked so hard. You know, Washington, D.C. did not have a great reputation for security and safety. And now, as you know, it's the single, well, let's just say it's real safe. because somebody's going to have to be very careful with the fake news media. They will say, well, wait a minute, there was a place in Tennessee that was slightly, it's gone from a very dangerous place where a lot of bad things happen to one of the safest cities in the country. You can come here now, and we've had an amazing record. It's been incredible. It's a real turnaround. Likewise, Memphis, Tennessee, a lot of problems. The mayor called, the governor called, and we went out and did a job. And in 3 months, crime is down 74%, and we'll get it down even beyond that, much beyond that. It was very quick. But I also deployed the National Guard to bring back safety to Memphis and New Orleans and all these other places, and they have done some job. What great people they are. Our capital is now considered, in fact, here's a stat, the safest capital anywhere in the world. How about that? We went from probably the most unsafe. I think we went from the most unsafe to certainly one of the safest. And here today is an outstanding female law enforcement officer keeping her community safe, Sheriff Michelle Cook from Clay County, Florida. Great place, Florida. Come on up. Michelle grew up in a military family, started as an officer almost 35 years ago, and has now been sheriff for nearly 6 years, and she's done a great job, and maybe more importantly, she's a great mom, they say. I think you're a great mom. So thank you very much, Michelle. Please. Thank you. Thank you.
Mr. President, the only place safer than Washington is going to be Clay County, Florida. Okay, all right. Good afternoon. My name is Michelle Cook, and I am a 35-year law enforcement veteran, and I currently serve as the elected sheriff in Clay County, Florida. And I'd like to thank the President, Mrs. Trump, for having all these beautiful women in here today. Thank you so much. My husband, Don, and I are raising a big, beautiful blended family that includes 6 kids. And there's 2 topics that I know very, very well. That's raising kids and serving my community. Raising a family is an honor, and with President Trump's no tax on overtime law, families can now recognize additional dollars from their hard work. Up to $12,500 per individual, and up to $25,000 back in the pockets of hardworking Americans who work overtime to make their families happy and to provide the necessities that they need. And I want to say thank you for that, because it is making a difference in Clay County, Florida. I'd also like to talk about law enforcement. As I mentioned, I've done 35 years in this field. And one thing that I will tell you is that crime will rise to the level that a community allows it to rise. And when you have a president of the United States standing up from the Whitest House, or the White House in the Washington, D.C., saying that we will have law and order in our nation, that sets the tone and that sets the expectation. And I can tell you, it is an honor to serve my community with you at the very top, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you. In closing, I would like to say God bless our first responders, God bless our military, God bless our president, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job. And she looks like no games. I'm watching her. I'm saying, she looks like a tough one. Thank you. And I hear you do an incredible job. I got the word from Florida. Great honor. As we make our communities safe again, my administration is also fighting for school choice and also bringing education back to the states so that you run them, right, Virginia? So that you run them from your local community, not from Washington, D.C. We've done that, and Linda McMahon has done an incredible job, by the way. And that's done so that American moms can send their children to a school that shares their values and everything else. The Trump administration listens to women and moms, which is why we are doing more to help women struggling with infertility than any administration in history. This all started when I got a call from Katie Britt, a great senator from Alabama. I don't know if she's here, but I never said be here. But she did call me and she said, listen, we have a problem. And she explained the problem. I wasn't that familiar with it, I must tell you. But after about 2 minutes, I understood it very well. And we really took that issue, infertility. We took the whole situation with what was happening. So many bad things were happening throughout the country, and we solved it with my most favored nation agreements that we just had approved by other countries, just about all the countries all over the world, which had, they always said, Kellyanne, you couldn't get them to do it. I got them all to do it, and the calls lasted not even that long a period. I said, you got to do it, because we were paying the highest price anywhere in the world for drugs and prescription drugs, and now we're paying the lowest price anywhere in the world. They had to agree to it. They did. They had to agree. They said it would be impossible to get. The drug companies had to get them, but they didn't care because they said, you'll never get the countries, but I got the countries quickly. I said, listen, Emmanuel, like France, just as an example, you have to double the price of your drugs. You'll still be low, but you have to double them. No, 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 I will not do that, Donald. I will not do that. Are you crazy? I'm not going to double the price. But this has gone on for 35 years. And I said, no, you're going to do it. You're going to, no, no, I will not do it. Yes, you are. And I'll tell you why. Because if you don't do it, I'm going to put a big tariff on everything coming in from France or whatever country, because I made numerous of these calls. And it took me, the first answer was always, no, 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 Donald, I will not do it. The second answer was like, well, I agreed to do it. And every single country agreed. And because of that, we are cutting your drug prices by 60, 70, 80, and even 90%. Can you believe that? That's the biggest thing to happen in medicine in so long. And when you think about it, you know, it used to be, I had a time, we had a very successful first term, best economy ever. We did a lot of great things. We rebuilt our military. That's one of the reasons we're doing so well now with our military. I never thought I'd have to be using it so much. But when you look at what they did in Venezuela and now what they're doing in Iran, it's been amazing. But when you look at all of this, everybody was saying that this could never be done with the drugs. It could never be done. And in my first term, I was so proud of myself because I was able to cut the drugs 1/4 of a pence. Now, this doesn't sound so good, but I was proud. 28 years, drug costs went up, and it never stopped. Went up, up, up. And I had, in my third year, I cut drugs by 1/4 of 1%. And it was like a big deal because that never happened before. And I had a news conference. I announced that I cut drugs 1/4. It's the first time in 28 years. But now I cut drug prices by 80%, 75%. A low one, a bad one, would be 50%. Think of it, 1/4 of a percent, I was happy. But, you know, with experience, you learn. And these are the biggest drug price cuts this country's ever had by 25 times. And I think it's going to make a very big difference. All you great Congress people back there that helped me, it's going to make a great difference. There's never been anything like it. It's called Most Favored Nation agreements. I got them with all the countries. And so now, instead of paying the highest price in the whole world, we're paying the lowest price in the whole world. Oh, it's pretty good. And I'm very, very happy, very proud of that, actually. It should be the biggest story. I don't get any, nobody wants to write about it. That's why I talk about it. They don't want to write about it. There was a little story like this in the New York Times. Should have been headlines. I picked up the New York Times. I said to my wife, oh, this is a big one. This is going to be front page. I couldn't find the story. I said, oh, they must have been a little bit late. You know, they were a lot late. So I figured it was the next day. I looked the next day. There was nothing. It's unbelievable. How would you like to cut drug prices, Kellyanne? How would you like to cut drug prices by 80% and not have a story about it? Something a little cuckoo there, isn't there? But the people got it. That's why we won. The people got it, Sheriff, right? But I'm also doing something else with, I think was, you know, not much. To me, I say, can this really be possible? We're keeping men out of women's sports. Is that okay with 90% of the people? And we're putting that in the Save America Act. as one of our 5. That's voter ID. We want voter ID. We want proof of citizenship. We want no transgender mutilization of your children. We don't want transgender mutilation. That's number 3. We want no men in women's sports. That's number 4. And we don't want to have mail-in voting, where the votes go. Where the hell do they come from? So we do that. It's 5 things. They're all 99%. They say, oh, that's an 80% issue, like voter ID. No, I think it's a 99. I think the Democrats have it at 87%. The leadership doesn't want it. Why don't you want voter ID? There's only one reason. Ready? Because you want to cheat. Okay? They blame it on all sorts of things. They said it's racist. They came up with things that you have to say their imagination is great. No, we're not going to let them cheat like they did in a certain election that we won't talk about. But that election was, and they cheat now. Look, we're not going to let it happen. So we're going to go get the Save America Act, not the Save Act. Nobody knew what the Save Act meant. The Save Act, what save what? Save America Act. And we're going to do everything we can. It's hard to believe. It's hard to believe we're having a hard time. I think anybody that votes against it shouldn't be allowed to run for office. You want to know the truth. But we're working very hard on it. It shouldn't be. Every one of those 5 points, every one of them is, I think, close to a 95%. They say voter ID, that's an 80% issue. It's not 80%. It's 99%, I believe, and so are most of the others. So those 5 points, I call them best of. They're best of Trump, like best of for an athlete, the best plays, best of. These are best of Trump. So hopefully we're going to get them. But I'm also keeping the men out of the women's sports, and I signed an executive order declaring that there are only 2 genders, male and female. Complicated, isn't it? Male and female. I don't think the First Lady's going to have a problem. Am I okay with that one? I'm not, because she will say to me sometimes, I don't like that particular stance. I don't know. That's okay. We like that baby crying. Melania would say, I don't like that particular stance, but I think we're okay on that one. 2 genders, okay? Male and female. I think so. We'll be okay. And we have put the world on notice that America will not allow men to compete against women in the 2028 Olympics, where we have the Olympics. And we have the Olympics, we have the World Cup coming up, and we have 20, the biggest is 250, and I did all 3 of them. I did the Olympics, I got the Olympics, then I got the World Cup, then I got 250, but I've never been given credit for that. They won't give me credit for 250 years, but I'm here for 250. I tried to take credit for that, but I haven't been able to get it. But a person that I recognized immediately when I came into the room, I looked down, I said, because I didn't read, if I prepare my speeches, I won't have time to get things done. Do you ever hear that? Yeah, I cannot prepare. So I didn't know who the hell I was speaking to, but I walked in and I saw this beautiful woman with the blonde hair. I watched that bobsled. I don't know how the hell you do it, Kaylee. But Kaylee was the star, big star of the Olympics and other Olympics also. And she's a 6-time Olympic medalist. Think of that. And she's won more gold medals than any other female bobsledder in history. She's a total champion. I watched the whole deal with you. You were getting ready, and they said, maybe, I don't know. She was prime, 8 years ago. They said that was terrible. And then you ended up winning again, You're going to be prime for a long time, I'll tell you that. What a tremendous athlete, and it's an honor. But I walked in, and I said, because I don't know most of you, unfortunately, but I knew her, because I watched that whole thing. And she recently got back from Cortina, Italy, where she won 2 bronze medals as America cheered her on, and she's won the golds, and she's won more than anybody else, and it's amazing to have you here, and it's a great honor. Come on up, Kaylee. You're much braver than me. Please.
Appreciate it. I don't know about braver, but it's a real honor to be here today. Yes, I'm a 6-time Olympic medalist, 3 of them gold, but the title, I'm most proud of is Mom. Thank you. Yes. My journey to motherhood was a 2.5-year process through IVF. And I was constantly told that as soon as I became a mom, my career in athletics was going to be over. I was never going to reach the Olympic podium again. Mentally, physically, I could never get my body and my mind back. And I think the ultimate way to tell somebody that, they'll never do it, say don't do it, and I'm going to go out and do it. That's just how it goes. The ultimate dream I had was to become a mom and then be able to stand on the Olympic podium. And this year I got to do that with my 1.5-year-old son. Thank you. Yes. So being able to earn these 2 bronze medals, they feel like gold. They really do. He is my gold medal and will always be for the rest of my entire life. As a legal immigrant competing for the United States of America, a country that has adopted me, it's one of the greatest honors I've had in my entire life. Having my 1-year-old son chase me around the Olympic podium, another huge honor and a dream come true. I want to encourage every single mother out there to follow your dreams and don't let anybody put limits on what you believe you can do. The only Olympic medalists we're actually allowed to award what's called the Order of ECOS. So every Olympic medalist in the United States gets an Order of ECOS that they get to hand to somebody in honor and recognition of somebody who's made a meaningful contribution to their journey to the podium, because Olympic medals are never achieved alone. So I am here today, and I'm so honored to present this, my Order of ECOS medal, to you, Donald Trump. Thank you. So we only get one, but I want to recognize the support and the impact you've had on women's sports throughout the Olympic movement, specifically standing up to keep biological women in women's sports, to keep the field of play safe and allow for fair competition. Furthermore, because your policies are creating greater access to IVF, so families like mine can continue to grow as I look to become and expand my family again, I believe this actually makes you the first president in history to ever be awarded an Order of ECOS as well. So thank you.
Oh, here. We'll do that. Isn't he just the best? He's the best. So, thank you.
Thank you very much. Wow. I knew I liked her. I liked her right from the first second. Now I know why. That's good. That's really nice. Beautiful. Thank you both very much. Appreciate it. So I'm going to now do a little signing, and the signing is going to be very impactful, very important, and it's something that Melania feels very strongly about, and so do I, and perhaps the people that I called before, come on up, and if you want, bring your families up. Bring your families, and we'll sign all together. Is that okay? Come on. So, you ready? Okay. No auto pen, right, Pam? Am I allowed? Nope, no auto pen. Okay, ready? Watch what I do. So quiet. Okay, we did it. You want that? Hand these out. Yes. Here you go, you champion. She won so much gold, she doesn't know what to do with it. It's gotten very valuable lately, gold. Yeah, I want to thank you all very much. That's really nice. Here, take another one. There you go. Thank you all very much. Fantastic. Thank you.
here. He goes over there.
Okay.
Jeanette, stand in front.
Judge Janine, Chief Protocol.
Thank you. Don't tell Monica.
She's a strong leader. She just made television.
No, sir.
Okay. Thank you very much, everybody. It's an honor to be here for our friend Sergio Gore. Today we're thrilled to be in a swear-in for the next ambassador to India and special envoy to South and Central Asia, which is a big deal, and Sergio will handle it better than anybody could handle it. So I just want to congratulate Sergio. Come here a minute, Sergio. We are honored to be joined this afternoon by our great Vice President, J.D. Vance. Thank you, J.D. Secretary of State, Marco Rubio. Thank you, Marco. Secretary Scott Besson, who's doing a great job. Attorney General Pam Bondi. And U.S. Attorney Janine Pirro. D.C. is a very safe place, Janine, right? Very safe place, and we got to keep it going.
Yes.
Along with Senators Lindsey Graham, Jim Risch, Tommy Tuberville, and Katie Britt. And I will give you an exemption because, you know, they're supposed to be right now in the Senate. And if you guys want to sneak out, nobody will see you leaving. Do you want to do that, Lindsey, or do you want to stay here? Okay, you sneak out anytime you want.
Thank you.
We don't want to screw up any votes, do we?
Amen.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for being here. But we're also very honored to be joined by Mrs. a very special woman who I unfortunately have seen a lot of lately on television for the wrong reasons. A woman who is great, who Charlie said is the greatest of anybody he knew, best friends and best everything, Erica Kirk. So thank you. And as Erica knows, another special woman, Laura Ingram. Where's Laura? She's here someplace. Thank you, Laura. And many other true American patriots, great people. 1 year ago, Sergio played a key role in helping us secure the most consequential presidential election victory in the history of our country. And from the day we won, he immediately began working to staff our new administration with the most talented team of any president. And we have had a great team. A couple of mistakes there, Sergio, but we won't mention them. They're gone. We got rid of them pretty quick. We found a couple we weren't thrilled with. We got them out of here. But as my director of office and presidential personnel from the early days of transition, Sergio's leadership was essential to fulfilling the historic mandate entrusted to us by the American people. And that's what we've done with the help here at the White House. We set new benchmarks for presidential staffing. Nobody's done it, I think, hopefully better, but certainly quicker. But I don't think anybody's done it better. We have great people, surrounded by the people that I really do love and like and respect. But we hired 4,000 appointees across every federal department in record time, including over 1,000 appointments on day one. So before we even got started, we had over 1,000 people working for us. Under Sergio's leadership, federal agencies and departments reached staffing levels of 95%, and is faster than any administration in modern day history. And prior to his work on behalf of my 2024 campaign, Sergio had tremendous success as an entrepreneur in the publishing world. He even published my book, which went to #1. I was very happy because if it didn't, he wouldn't be here. But now I'm trusting Sergio to help strengthen one of our country's most important international relationships, and that's the strategic partnership with the Republic of India. It's a big deal. India is home to one of the world's oldest civilizations, the largest country in the world, actually. And it's got over 1.5 billion people. And we have a fantastic relationship with the Prime Minister, Modi. And Sergio has only enhanced that because he's become already friendly with the Prime Minister, knowing that Sergio is going to be the ambassador they would call constantly to say, let's get to know this man, and they like what they see. So I know you're going to have a great success over there. It's a very important relationship. But it's also the fastest growing middle class, and it's an important economic and strategic security partner in the Indo-Pacific region. It's an amazing country, actually. 1.5 billion people. China has 1.4 billion. Those are two big countries. As ambassador, Sergio will work to fortify our country's bond, promote investments in key U.S. industries and technologies, increase American energy exports, and expand our security cooperation. And you know, we're making a deal with India, a much different deal than we had in the past. So right now they don't love me, but they'll love us again. We're getting a fair deal, just a fair trade deal. We had pretty unfair trade deals. They're very good negotiators, Sergio, so you have to take a look at that, if you would, please. But we're getting close, Scott. I think we're pretty close to doing a deal that's good for everybody, right? In the old days, do you think Biden would ask that question? I don't think so. He'd say, how are we doing with India? He didn't know about India. He didn't know a damn thing. But that's okay. We had him. Likewise, in Sergio's role as special envoy to South and Central Asia, he'll be a key emissary to a very important group of nations at the crossroads between East and West. And last week, I was honored to host the leaders of 5 Central Asian countries here in the White House. And Sergio will be helping with all of that. We had an amazing meeting the other night at the White House, and I'm confident that Sergio will do an outstanding job and make our country and all of his friends very proud. But I'm very proud of Sergio. I've known him for a long time, and he's a great guy. And most people love him. Some people don't like him so much. I'll be honest with you, Sergio. Some people, when they don't like Sergio, they don't like him. But when they like him more than anybody. But most of them really are the like category. And I just want to say that I think he's going to be an outstanding representative for the United States of America. And it's a big deal. Being the ambassador to India is a big deal. So, Sergio, congratulations. I know you're going to do a fantastic job. Thank you very much.
Okay. Swear him in here.
Left hand on the Bible, right hand out.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge. I appreciate the assistance. We have such a crowd here, you think we're swearing in a vice president. So. Okay. Please repeat after me. I, Sergio Gore,
I, Sergio Gore,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
against all enemies, foreign and domestic,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same,
that I take this obligation freely,
that I take this obligation freely,
without any mental reservation
without any mental reservation
or purpose of evasion,
or purpose of evasion,
and that I will well and faithfully
and that I will well and faithfully
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of the office on which I am about to enter.
of the office of which I'm about to enter.
So help you God.
So help me God.
Congratulations, Mr. President.
Mr. President, this is an honor of a lifetime. I want to thank first you, what you have done for this country before you came back in, the trouble that this country was facing. I mean, frankly, we were screwed. What you have achieved in 10 months has been historic, has surpassed any other presidency, and I fully believe what you will achieve in the next 3 years will never be beaten. So it has been an honor to serve you. I've been at your side for many years. I will continue to be there. And it's just an incredible honor. And I look forward to enhancing the relationship between our two nations. But again, thank you for entrusting me with this position. And I look forward to doing a great job for you.
Thank you very much, Sergio.
Well, thank you, sir. First of all, congratulations, Sergio. You're going to be a great ambassador, a great representative to the country of India, which the President and I both love. As a lot of you know, Sergio was a critical piece of what made the first 10 months such a great success. Obviously, the president's leadership is the most important thing, but you can't do a whole lot unless you've got good people around you. And Sergio did as much as anybody to ensure that the White House was staffed with the very best people, people who were loyal to the president, loyal to the country, and loyal to the agenda that we're trying to implement. So thank you all for being here. I think it's a great testament to you, Sergio, that you got multiple cabinet secretaries, Erica Kirk, the President of the United States. This crowd would not turn out for just anybody, but it turned out for Sergio Gore. You're going to do a hell of a job, man. Congratulations.
Just to echo what Sergio said, Mr. President, you've done a lot for this country, more than any other president has in such a short period of time. And part of that is putting together a phenomenal team. And I know Sergio was instrumental in helping you achieve that. And so we think he'll do a great job. This is a very impressive collection of people. There are almost 1.5 billion people in the Oval Office right now. But Sergio's going to do a phenomenal job. Those of us who've known him, so many of his friends that are here and family as well, that know how hard he works 24 hours, 7 days a week. And that's what it takes to work in this administration, because of how much you're pushing our country forward around the world and here at home. And we know Sergio will do a great job. So congratulations, Sergio. You're going to do a phenomenal job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Janine, please.
Well, I'm very proud to be here with Sergio, my friend, who's been my friend for many years. He is someone who is loyal, he is trustworthy, and he works as hard as anyone I know. And Mr. President, there is in this room a group of people who love you, who believe in you, and who are so proud to be in this Oval Office and to be part of this amazing day, because you have changed the course of America. You, and thank you, Sergio, for what you've done. God bless you both.
Thank you. Well, he was also very good friends with a guy named Charlie. We just knew him as Charlie, and his wife, who he loves so much, is here with us. And maybe you know how close they were together. Maybe, Erica, you could say a couple of words, please.
An honor to, sir. Charlie loved you. It's hard not to get emotional because I know that he would have been the first phone call when he found out that you were going to be taking this position. And the way that I was able to witness the two of you work together for years and to champion and support the president was absolutely humbling to witness. And I am so proud of you. And Charlie is going to be with you every single day. In spirit, and I will be praying for you every day, because I know that this is just the beginning of an incredible opportunity for you. And sir, thank you for allowing Sergio to have this beautiful moment.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Charlie. And that man's watching over us right now, right? Okay. Any questions?
You mentioned senators that are here, Mr. President. Do you personally approve of the deal that's happening right now on Capitol Hill to end the government shutdown?
Well, it depends what deal we're talking about. But if it's a deal I heard about, that's certainly, you know, they want to change the deal a little bit. But I would say so. I think based on everything I'm hearing, they haven't changed anything. And we have support from enough Democrats. And we're going to be opening up our country. It's too bad it was closed, but we'll be opening up our country very quickly.
Mr. President, that deal does reverse the mass firings your administration put through during the shutdown. Did you sign off on that, and will you abide by that if this passes?
Well, I will be. I'll abide by the deal. The deal is very good. We're not going to be giving $1.5 trillion to people that came in from jails and from, you know, the gangs and drug dealers and all of these others that they wanted to be given health care, which would have hurt our health care system. I hope that we're going to be able to have a health care where Lindsay and I were discussing it, Jim and I were discussing it, and Katie, we discussed it. We want a health care system where we pay the money to the people instead of the insurance companies. And I tell you, we're going to be working on that very hard over the next short period of time, where the people get the money. We're talking about trillions and trillions of dollars where the people get the money. Yes, please.
The Syria president, sir, could you update us on your meeting? Did you come to any agreements?
Say it?
With the leader of Syria you had earlier, did you come to any agreements today?
Well, I had an agreement with him. He's a very strong leader. He comes from a very tough place, and he's a tough guy. I liked him. I get along with him. The president, the new president of Syria. And we'll do everything we can to make Syria successful, because that's part of the Middle East. We have peace now in the Middle East, first time that anyone can remember that ever happening. And a very big part of the Middle East, very important part. If you look back at Syria, for years they had the doctors, the lawyers, they had so many of the great intellects. It's an amazing place with great people, and we want to see Syria be successful along with the rest of the Middle East. So I have confidence that he'll be able to do the job, absolutely.
How close are you to a deal on a trade deal with India? Are you willing to consider lowering the current tariff rate?
Well, right now the tariffs are very high on India because of the Russian oil, and they've stopped doing the Russian oil. It's been reduced very substantially. Yeah, we're going to be bringing the tariffs down.
What kind of level are we talking about here?
I mean, at some point we're going to be bringing them down. Without tariffs, this country would be in such trouble, as they were for many years. That's why we owe $38 trillion. And one of the things we're going to do, we're going to issue a dividend to our middle-income people and lower-income people of about $2,000. And we're going to use the remaining tariffs to lower our debt. We're going to be lowering our debt, which is a national security thing. So we're doing a lot of good work. And the numbers were reported so incorrectly. The real numbers are trillions of dollars have been taken in or gotten in terms of investment from the tariffs. And so if that were ever reversed, it would be a disaster. Frankly, it would be a national security problem for our country. And nobody thinks it's going to be reversed. I think we had a very good court case. As you know, it's before the Supreme Court right now. But if that were ever reversed, people are saying, oh, it's $1 billion. Some people said, oh, it's $2 billion. Well, that obviously we can handle very easily. But this is trillions of dollars we're talking about in terms of the tariff income and all the investment income that's come into our country. We have more than, I would say right now, more than $18 trillion. The biggest number ever is a tiny fraction of that for any country. China, the United States, the biggest number ever. If you look at the past administration, Biden, he did less than $1 trillion in 4 years. We're over $18 trillion. By the time my first year ends, we're going to have over $20 trillion of investment coming into the United States. It's unheard of. We have AI factories. We're leading China by a lot. We have cars and car plants coming in by more than we've ever had built before. All of that would go away if we lose the tariff case. So all of it would go away. So they're not giving the right numbers. It would be an economic disaster. It would be a national security disaster if we lost the case in the Supreme Court.
Can we expect tariff rebate? This is an idea that you've been talking about for months. This is going to directly and positively impact millions of Americans. Why was this important for you to do, and when can Americans expect that rebate?
So I've been talking about it for a long time, the dividend to people that have suffered under the Biden administration. So Biden had the highest inflation in history, and we now are at a very low point. We're going to be hitting 1.5% pretty soon. So we're at a low point, and he was a high point. We did that. Food prices are way down. It's all coming down. And the biggest decrease, of course, is energy. And, as goes energy, goes everything else. Because when energy comes down, the oil, the electric, I think you're going to see $2 gasoline or something very close to that. In fact, we're already in the twos. But I think you're going to be seeing very soon $2 gasoline. That's like the equivalent of a massive tax cut. But in addition to that, the great big beautiful bill gives you a very, very big tax cut. And then you have no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, and no tax on overtime for the middle income and for even, frankly, anybody. But you have no tax, and the no tax on tips has turned out to be a tremendous thing. But when you think no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security for our seniors, it's the great big beautiful bill, which has been mischaracterized. But now people they don't want to talk about it because it's so good, the enemy, because it's so good for everybody. It's the greatest piece of legislation ever passed in the history of our country in terms of size. And hence they call it the big beautiful bill, or the one big beautiful. I call it the great big beautiful bill. It's an amazing bill for the middle class. It's an amazing bill for jobs. We've never passed anything like it. And in my first administration, so we had the greatest economy. Everything was good, but we're really outdoing it this time because we have investments coming in largely because of tariffs. And I think because of November 5th, the election result. But we have investments coming in like we've never had before.
The deal in the shutdown, Mr. President, includes a vote.
Behind you, Caitlin, behind you.
Thank
Thank you, Katie.
On Syria, can we expect an announcement on a pact between Syria and Israel, or an announcement on them joining the anti-ISIS
Yeah, you can
coalition?
expect some announcements on Syria. We want to see Syria become a country that's very successful, and I think this leader can do it. I really do. I think this leader can do it. And people said he's had a rough past. We've all had rough pasts, but he has had a rough past, and I think, frankly, if you didn't have a rough past, you wouldn't have a chance. He gets along very well with Turkey, with President Erdogan, who's a great leader. Erdogan's a great leader and very much in favor of what's happening in Syria. We have to make Syria work. Syria is a big part of the Middle East. And I will tell you, I think it is working and really well. We're working also with Israel on, getting along with Syria, getting along with everybody. And that's working amazingly. As you know, Hamas has given us back numerous bodies. It sounds pretty gruesome, but it's something the parents want more than if their son had been living. Hard to believe. I've seen all of the parents, so many of the parents, and getting back the body of their son, their dead son, is as vital to them, as important to them, as if the boy was generally the boy was alive. And as you know, over the last 4 or 5 days, we've gotten a lot of the additional bodies that they said they were going to. They've worked very hard to do that. So we have peace in the Middle East. It's a great thing, and nobody's ever seen anything quite like it.
After your meeting with the Syrian
trade talks
president
with
today,
Switzerland,
Mr.
you posted
President.
last week about your talks with Switzerland. We're reporting that you're near a deal that would lower their rate to
With
50%.
Switzerland?
Yeah.
We're working on a deal to get their tariffs a little bit lower because
15% is what we're hearing. Is
no,
that
I
right?
haven't said any number, but we're going to be working on something to help Switzerland along. We hit Switzerland very hard. We want Switzerland to remain successful, and we're a part of Switzerland in the sense that they've been a very good ally. Yeah, we're working on them and some others, and we're working on others to increase them a little bit too.
How close is it with Switzerland?
Switzerland? What, do you have something to do with Switzerland?
No, I'm just
He wants to buy a watch. He wants to buy a watch.
He wants to buy a nice watch.
He's a cheese.
He wants to buy a nice Rolex. We'll give Rolex some publicity. Because Rolex has they've been very nice, Now, look, it's a beautiful country. It's a small country, but economically very big. So we're working on something.
After
Caitlin?
a meeting with the Syrian president earlier today, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who is a big ally of yours, said that she would rather see you focused on nonstop domestic policy meetings here at the White House instead of nonstop foreign policy meetings. What's your response to her saying that, and also saying that grocery prices are up and not down, as you've said?
Yeah, so I don't know what happened to Marjorie. She's a nice woman, but I don't know what happened. She's lost her way, I think. But I have to view the presidency as a worldwide situation, not locally. I mean, we could have a world that's on fire where wars come to our shores very easily if you had a bad president. We had a horrible president, and we ended up with Russia, Ukraine, and we ended up with other disasters, too. Don't forget, I put out 8 wars, 9 to come. I think I'll get the other one taken care of. But I put out 8 wars. And look at the damage that Russia, Ukraine has done to us as a country. I mean, we spent $350 billion. We're not spending any money anymore. Now they pay us through NATO. I got NATO to go from 2% to 5%. Well, that's very important. When you're president, you really sort of have to watch over the world because you're going to be dragged into it. Otherwise, you're going to be dragged into a world war. I think if I weren't president, first of all, that war would have never happened if I was president. And if I weren't president, that war could have led to World War III. It won't. It's not going to anymore. But when I first got in, I said, wow, this situation could lead to World War III. And I got NATO together. I got everybody together. But with all of that, I passed a great, big, beautiful bill, which is the biggest tax cuts in the history of our country. So when somebody like Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's now catering to the other side, I don't know what, I guess she's, got some kind of an act going, but I'm surprised at her. But when somebody like Marjorie goes over and starts making statements like that, it shows she doesn't know. I don't devote a lot of my time. Let me give you another example. China. China was going to hit us with rare earth. Now, everybody says, what does that mean? Magnets. If China refused to give magnets, because they have a monopoly on magnets, because they were allowed to happen over a 32-year period, there wouldn't be a car made in the entire world. There wouldn't be a radio. There wouldn't be a television. There wouldn't be internet. There wouldn't be anything because magnets are such a part. Now, nobody knows what magnets are. and not overly sophisticated, but to build a magnet system would take 2 years. So if I weren't able to say to China, look, if you're going to do that to us, we're going to charge you 158% tariff. It was 100% on top of 58%. And China called up immediately and said, we will make peace. And we made peace. We made a great deal. We made an unbelievable deal. China's paying tariffs to the United States, not the United States paying tariffs to China, which has always been the way it was. Nobody can believe these deals. But so when somebody makes a statement about he's devoting time to the world, well, the world is the United States, because if the world's in trouble or if the world is ripping us off, you know, the world was ripping us off before I came here. Europe was getting massive tariffs. They were sending us 9-10 million cars a year. We were sending them none. They were not taking our agriculture. We were taking massive amounts of their. It was so unfair. Now we have a deal where $950 billion is coming into the United States because of me and because of tariffs. So if I don't do all these things, our country is doing very poorly. So, you know, it's easy to say, oh, don't worry about the world. But the world is turning out to be our biggest customer. The world was on fire. And we could have been in that fire very easily if you didn't have a president that knew what he was doing.
Can you guarantee to Americans that travel is going to go back to normal once the government all the air travel
better than normal. You know why?
When the government reopens.
Yeah, sure. It'll be much better than normal because we're buying the most sophisticated avionics and, you know, technology for our control towers. And we didn't have that. We had a guy named Buttigieg. Edge, they say is the best way. Just say two edges, like off the edge of a cliff, which is where they were taking us, by the way. Edge was the Secretary of Transportation, and he spent billions of dollars trying to patch together our air traffic control system, which was a conglomeration of all different systems in all different cities. They had hundreds of companies working on it. And they were spending billions of dollars. And when they turned it on, it didn't work. It didn't even work a little bit. That's why you had a helicopter crashing into an airplane, that if we had a great system, bells and whistles would have started going off. So we are now in the process. We're in final bids of getting the finest system anywhere in the world. I've analyzed it. Sean Duffy has been working really hard on it, doing a fantastic job, by the way. And over the next 2 or 3 weeks, we'll be handing out the finest air traffic control system anywhere in the world. All the towers will be equipped. They were going copper wire into glass wire into other types of wire. And if you knew anything, you know copper wire doesn't work with glass. You know glass doesn't work with other substances. And they spent billions of dollars, and when they turned it on, nothing happened. Okay? We're getting the most sophisticated, all brand new. Every control tower will have the same exact system. It'll be the most sophisticated system by far in the world. And what we've done is we've looked around other countries and we've taken the absolute best systems in every different form, because there are different. You have lots of different companies like IBM and Raytheon and a lot of great companies. They're all bidding, and we're going to pick the best one, and it'll get built relatively quickly. And we are going to have the greatest air traffic control system anywhere in the world. Thank you very much, everyone.
Air traffic control.
Thanks, guys. Thank you. Let's go. Start moving.
Mr. President, we just have 2 quick proclamations for you to sign today. The first, today is Leif Erikson Day. Leif Erikson was a famous Viking explorer who discovered the coast of Newfoundland over a millennium ago. This is a hugely important holiday, particularly to Scandinavian Americans who celebrate his legacy as a great explorer, as a devout Christian, and really just a fascinating individual in the history of our continent.
Sweden and various other countries. We have a lot of people from Sweden. A lot of Scandinavians. This is very important for Scandinavians, and it's a great honor. Okay, and now you have another one that's,
this is like
I think, very non-controversial, frankly, but some people would say it's controversial. Go ahead.
This is like Explorer Day for you, sir. Today we have your Columbus Day proclamation for Monday, which we're signing a bit early. Christopher Columbus obviously discovered the New World in 1492. He was a great Italian explorer. He sailed his 3 ships, the Nina, the Pinta, and the Santa Maria, across the Atlantic Ocean and landed in what's today the Caribbean. But this is a particularly important holiday for Italian Americans who celebrate the legacy of Christopher Columbus and the innovation and explorer zeal that he represented.
In other words, we're calling it Columbus Day. Okay.
Yes.
That was the press that broke out in applause. That was, can you believe that? I've never seen that happen before. The press actually broke out in applause. Good. Columbus Day. We're back. Columbus Day, we're back, Italians. Okay. We love the Italians. Okay.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you.
President.
Great. Thank you very much.
Have a good one, sir.
So we covered Scandinavia and Italy. Not bad. Now for the rest of the world. So I want to thank everybody for being here. As you know, last night we reached a momentous breakthrough in the Middle East, something that people said was never going to be done. We ended the war in Gaza and really, on a much bigger basis, created peace. And I think it's going to be a lasting peace, hopefully an everlasting peace. Peace in the Middle East. We secured the release of all of the remaining hostages, and they should be released on Monday or Tuesday. Getting them is a complicated process. I'd rather not tell you what they have to do to get them. There are places you don't want to be, but we are getting the hostages back on Tuesday, Monday or Tuesday, and that'll be a day of joy. I'm going to try and make a trip over. We're going to try and get over there, and we're working on the timing, the exact timing. We're going to go to Egypt, where we'll have a signing, an additional signing. We've already had a signing representing me, but we're going to have an official signing. And the amazing thing is all of the countries over there, from Qatar to Saudi Arabia to UAE to all of them, I mean, the rich ones, the less than rich ones, they've all come together, something which is amazing, actually. They've all come together for this, and they're really probably the best relationships they've ever had. So it's been really something incredible that nobody thought it was possible to get it done. And very importantly, the hostages are coming back. As you know, they consider them hostages. They talk about them as hostages, but there are approximately 28 dead people, mostly young, mostly men, but and boys. I mean, boys. The one woman talked about her baby. Her baby's 25 years old, but you know, to her it's her baby, and we're bringing them home. We're getting everything, and to those parents, the dead young man is just as important, as though this person were alive. It's amazing. I've never seen anything quite like it. I've been very much involved. I've never seen anything quite like it. But it's really peace in the Middle East. And you remember October 7th was terrible, but also from the Hamas standpoint, they probably lost 70,000 people. That's big retribution. That's big retribution. But at some point, that whole thing has to stop, and we're going to see to it. Gaza is going to be slowly redone. You have tremendous wealth in that part of the world by certain countries, and just a small part of that, what they make will do wonders for Gaza. And I think you're going to see some tremendous countries stepping up and putting up a lot of money and taking care of things. But there's tremendous spirit like I haven't seen. And even the news, I won't call it fake news for this purpose, because they really were very fair today, I must tell you, in all cases. But they covered it very well. They covered it very fairly. Everybody loves it. Everybody. People that were never giving us a fair shake, frankly, they can't even believe it. They're so they're amazed by it. A lot of people are. But it was just everything came together. I think the attack was very important on Iran, because let's say that didn't happen, they'd probably by now have a nuclear weapon, numerous nuclear weapons, and therefore even if we signed a deal, there'd be a big dark cloud over it, and it wouldn't be the same thing. So Iran's different, but Iran wants to work on peace now. They've informed us, and they've acknowledged that they're totally in favor of this deal. They think it's a great thing. So we appreciate that, and we'll work with Iran. As you know, we have major sanctions on Iran and lots of other things. We'd like to see them be able to rebuild their country too, but they can't have a nuclear weapon. So I want to express my tremendous gratitude to the leaders of Qatar, Egypt, and Turkey for helping us reach this incredible day and for being there. They were there with us all the way. And of course, as you know, Saudi Arabia and Jordan and so many. I will tell you, President Erdogan was personally involved in dealing with Hamas and some of the others. He's been great. They've all been really amazing. Indonesia's been amazing. Indonesia's been fantastic. The whole world has come together for this. People that didn't get along, people that didn't like each other, neighboring countries that frankly didn't like each other, but now it's just this moment in time. So we look forward to welcoming the hostages, like you can't believe, home to their families, and that'll take place early next week. We hope Monday or Tuesday. And all Americans should be proud of the role that our country has played in bringing this terrible conflict to an end. And I want to thank, some of the people, JD, you were fantastic, and Pete, you were great. Marco was fantastic. Some of you were very much involved. I'm looking around. So indirectly, I think almost everybody in this room was involved. Susie, I want to thank you very much. You were incredible. You've done an incredible job. So, and yes, John, what you've done was invaluable. CIA, John Radcliffe, and he's done an incredible job. So I want to thank you all, and if I'm missing anybody, I apologize, but you've been amazing. And then you have Steve Witkoff, who worked so hard. And you remember, we settled 7, this is number 8, we settled 7 wars, or major conflicts, but wars. And this is number 8. And the one that I thought would be maybe the quickest of all would be Russia-Ukraine, and I think that's going to happen too. But in the meantime, they're losing about 7,000 people a week, and that seems pretty bad. They're losing mostly soldiers, young soldiers. They go out to war, and they're getting killed. And while it doesn't affect us in a lot of ways, we've got a big ocean in between, you don't want to see that happen. It was a big mistake. That war should have never happened. It would have never happened if I were president. So we're here this morning for a cabinet meeting as my administration continues to deliver for the American people, despite the radical left lunatics that shut down our government. You have Democrats that they've lost their way. They have no leadership. We don't even know who to deal with over there. At least they know who to deal with. We have no idea who we're dealing with over there. It's like they have no idea what they're doing. Republicans have voted repeatedly to pass a clean, nonpartisan bill to reopen government at the same funding levels. We're not going to do anything only good for health care. We're really, I think, become the party of good health care. And they keep using health care as a cudgel. They want to try and get everyone thinking about health care. We're the ones that are saving health care. In fact, one of the things we're doing is we're going to be reducing the cost of medicines by 100%, 200, 300, 500%, and even more than that, because as you know, we're in the process of favored nations right now. We've exercised a clause because we were subsidizing the entire world. The entire world pays a fraction of what the United States has been paying. And we've already, numerous Pfizer and other companies have already signed, and other countries are a bigger problem because they've been getting a subsidized rate. We've been paying for years. This has gone on for 30 years. We've been reducing the rate of drugs for other countries because we've been paying much more than we're supposed to. And they used all sorts of ideas like research and development. I said, what about Germany? What about these other countries? Aren't they paying? No, we have to pay research and development. It was all nonsense, and I couldn't listen to it anymore. So it's a very radical, big, tough shift. Very tough. We got a lot of things going up there. But, and you probably heard me say this in my first term, I think it was my 3rd year, we reduced drugs from one from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. And I was so proud of it. I actually had a news conference to announce it, and it was 1/8 of 1%. Think of that, which is barely a reduction. But it's the first time in 28 years that there was a reduction in drug prices for the year. So from the beginning to the end, it was 1/8 of 1%. And I was so proud of myself. I did something that nobody else could do. But when I started to think about it, I said, does it make sense? And then I'm starting to look at numbers where a pill or a treatment or some pharmaceutical product is selling in Europe for 10% of what we pay for in New York City or in any one of our places and cities, states. And then I see people leaving for other countries to go buy their pharmaceuticals, where they make journeys to various other countries, including Europe, where they got the best bargains of all. And I put an end to it. It's over. And now we're, in major, I guess, disputes, but we're winning the disputes by a lot. With the countries, a couple of countries said, we won't do this. I said, well, it's unfair that we're paying 10%, and, you're paying just a fraction of what we're paying for the same product made in the same plant. And they said, well, we're not going to do it. I said, that's okay. You don't have to do it. But I'm going to put a tariff of 9% or 7% or whatever the amount of money is. And I'm going to put a tariff on your country for the amount of money that you're taking advantage of us for. No, you can't. I said, yeah, I can do that. I'm going to do that. And they would immediately agree. And I'd make the tariff substantially more than the number we're talking about. And they would immediately agree. So we have the consent, I think, Bobby, of every country, essentially. They know that if they don't do it, we're going to put a tariff on for double the price, and then they're going to do it. So we never had that before. You never had anybody in here that knew what the hell they were doing, I'll be honest. It really it makes me angry. Because for years and years, and this started many years ago, and basically we subsidize the world. So this is going to have a huge positive impact on Medicare, Medicaid, even Social Security. But anything where there's pharmaceuticals, drugs involved, it's going to have a tremendous impact. So we're going to get drug reductions of 100%. I told you 1/8 of 1% that I was proud of myself. Now you're going to get 100%, 150%, 200, 300, 400, 500%. You're going to get the biggest drug reductions that you've ever seen. And they're already, I guess they're starting to kick in, but we've made deals with numerous companies and we're going for the full bore. We want whatever the price is. So that would mean that the world price, because the world is bigger than the United States, a lot more people, but the world price will go up a little bit and our price will come down a lot. So if a pill sells for $10 in London and $100 here, the pill will go to $20 in London and $20 for us. It's pretty simple. And that is a number that nobody can even fathom. It's a little like tariffs. Nobody knew how big they were. Nobody knew until they started seeing the trillions of dollars that have come in. I don't know why they didn't understand it. It's something they should have understood. We were taken advantage of for years with tariffs, and now I don't want to say we're taking advantage, but we've become a very strong country because of the money that's coming in. Republicans have voted repeatedly to pass a clean, nonpartisan bill to reopen our government. And remember, at the same funding levels, both parties have supported in the past. So the radical Democrats have chosen to put the economy of our country. We have the best economy we've ever had. We had the best economy in my first term, but we have an economy that's blowing it away. And we have the Democrats that are trying to obstruct. They don't want to have a good economy. I don't think they want to have a good country. That's why they try and stop our law enforcement from doing what we did in Washington, D.C. Washington, D.C., we have a great, safe, beautiful capital right now. Beautiful. It's so safe. You can walk down the street. Numerous people standing before me were mugged. And you're not going to get mugged anymore. We have a safe capital, one of the safest. We took it from one of the most unsafe places to one of the most safe places in the country. And we also beautified it, and we're in the process of doing even more so. So we're very proud of our capital again. We were embarrassed by our capital. A lot of people being killed that come from Iowa, Indiana, Florida, that come up and they end up getting shot. They're not getting shot. We moved out 1,700 people approximately, right? Approximately 1,700 hardened criminals, career criminals. They moved them out. So Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries and the congressional Democrats are holding the entire federal government hostage. I will tell you, a lot of Democrats want to get this thing open too. They do. They're calling us, and they just want to get it open. And all we're doing is saying, just play the same thing until we get it straight. And they don't know how to go about it. I mean, and the problem is we really don't know who the hell is leading the Democrats. You have this AOC. I don't know her at all, but I watched her the other day. She said, well, if they want, they could come to my office. That's not leadership, you know. The only one that challenged her actually was Nancy Pelosi. And Nancy's not looking too good. I don't know what happened to Nancy, but she's not looking great. But she was the only one, I give her credit, she was the only one that challenged her. But AOC said that they can come to her office and negotiate, the Republicans. And we're saying, oh, I didn't know she was in leadership. But she's taking Hakeem Jeffries' place, and Schumer's afraid that she's going to run against him. And right now, I don't know, it can change. Life is crazy, right? But right now, he can't beat. I don't think he can beat anybody. So he'll lose in a primary. I would say he'll retire before he loses in a primary. So I think Schumer's going to retire because he can't beat anybody. His polls are so bad. Meanwhile, the Democrat shutdown is causing pain and suffering for hardworking Americans, including our military, our air traffic controllers, and impoverished mothers, people with young children, people that have to live not the greatest of lives. But we're doing so many tax cuts. We've cut their taxes. The great big beautiful bill, we've cut their taxes at levels that nobody's ever seen. I mean, no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. It's been a great thing for a lot of people. They're doing great. Despite all of the damage that it's caused, the shutdown has been, pretty damaging. I mean, it's not yet because it's early, but it gets a little bit worse as it goes along. And we'll be making cuts that will be permanent. And we're only going to cut Democrat programs. I hate to tell you. I guess that makes sense. But we're only cutting Democrat programs. But we're going to start that, and we have Russell can talk to you about it if he wants to, but we'll be cutting some very popular Democrat programs that aren't popular with Republicans, frankly, because that's the way it works. They wanted to do this, so we'll give them a little taste of their own medicine. But Chuck Schumer proclaimed this morning that every day gets better for them. No, every day it's actually getting worse for them, and they're having a rebellion in the Democrat Party because they want to stop. And if you saw all of Schumer's, I watched last night like 10 different times over the years, he said, you can't shut down government, you can't shut down, and now he's the one that shut it down. So this is a confession that he's acting not to serve the people, but to serve the partisan interests of his party. And I don't think he's serving them well because they're way down. Look, they just lost an election in a landslide. It was interesting. I watched Kamala. It was a sad figure. I watched her the other day saying the election was very close. I said, no, the election was a landslide. We won the popular vote by millions. We won the Electoral College by, I think, 312 or 315 to 220 something. But there's another one that we